gentlemen, good evening. So today's showcase is featuring of the rendering of my garage and rendering of the front and the steps of the house. I will bring to you also the fireside chat. Remember, fireside chat is where I feature issues that I have while building. So tonight you're gonna hear about my saga. This is the real garage nightmare from hell. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. So where do I start? All right. So originally when I planned this building, the building plan had the garage at the back of the house. But as the house came out of foundation, my builder said to me, you know, you can get some room underneath here, so this is gonna be waste of space. So me now, with my inquiring mind, say, you know, say me could put the garage underneath here, so instead at the back of the house. Anyway, I decided, yes, let's put the garage at the front since the land slopes downward and I have a lot of space. So I decided to put some rooms under there, like 2 big rooms, big washroom, the garage, and then the stairwell that goes to the second floor would come from inside of that area too. Anyway, I didn't give it any more thought because remember that I am living overseas and I'm going back and forth. Anyway, fast forward to 2021. I decided to buy a vehicle. I was gonna spend some time down there and I wanted a vehicle. There's big C and I don't want to drive around and mix with anybody. So I went ahead and I buy a vehicle. And there starts my nightmare. I came home with the vehicle and basically I only have about 4 inches in front of me. Leave when I pull the vehicle in. Now, for the past, I would say, 20, not quite 20. I would say from the past, say about 15 years, I've been driving an Equinox. When the Equinox came out in 2005, I bought it, and I haven't bought another vehicle since then. I mean, another brand. I've bought the newer model Equinox and so on. But to cut a long story short, I went to Jamaica and I bought an Equinox. And the vehicle can hardly park in the garage. So this is where my nightmare starts with the garage, because my plan was originally to put roll-up shutters on the garage. But because the garage not big enough, I had to put grills on instead. So that's what I'm gonna show you today in the videos, how the garage, not the veranda, how the garage came along. All right? All right, more to come. Now, the saga starts when I pulled in, as I told you, and I did not have any room to back the car in and, you know, for shutters to roll down. So then I decided, okay, my next alternative was to grill the outside of the building. Well, that is done, but I still have the problem because ever so often I would pull in the garage and I would exceed that 4-inch space that I have, and the car will bump into the wall. So now I had to get something like a piece of tire and put it, kind of position it where the 4 inches would be, so that if I don't brake quick enough that the vehicle wouldn't get damaged and eventually I wouldn't burst a hole in the concrete. So that is an issue. This is just pointers for you individuals out there who wants to build in Jamaica. You have to keep on top of the build, because most of the individuals in Jamaica that has vehicle, they have small vehicles, they have the Japanese-made vehicle, and they don't build garages to cater for American vehicle. Now, if you are a person who likes nice-sized vehicle like I do, and who pretty much likes my American car, the number one, they don't want it to steal. They want to steal the Pro Box and, you know, Toyota and the Mark 1s and whatever. They're not gonna steal Equinox or an American-made car, pretty much, rarely, unless it's a high top-of-the-line vehicle. They're pretty much gonna walk past that. So that's a good reason for you to buy American vehicles. Now, the other issue I had, which you'll see in, I'm trying to find pictures of my recent renovation, but I don't have all the pictures in one spot. The window that was put in the garage looks like a window you put in a house, not a garage. A big window where somebody can just walk from the ground and climb through. So I had to concrete that in, block it up and put some decorative blocks in it. And hopefully I'll find a picture of that, which I think I have them, I just don't have it on this phone. I have it on my Jamaican phone. Okay, so that is my major issue that I have with the garage. And to tell you the truth, I didn't discover that that would be an issue till when I buy a vehicle. I always thought the garage was big. But yes, it's big. Big for what though? I can't put a truck, what we Americans call truck, or a big van, if you speak in Jamaican terminology. It can't fit in there. If I have a big minibus, it can't fit in there. It's just a little tiny small vehicle. So keep your eyes out when you're building. Make sure you measure. Don't eyeball it like I did. And I was figuring, okay, that's 2 big bays. It's big and nice, but when you get your vehicle there, and I've seen this happen to several people, I can count on one hand individuals from my community in Jamaica who are living abroad, and when they come down, sometimes it's doors they have to break out, because the people make the door them some little 32-inch doors, and you know, especially if you bring furniture and appliances from the US to Jamaica, you know you need 36-inch doors. So that's a pointer right there, okay? Don't learn the hard way like I did. Look at this driveway, guys. In the screen, you will see that this was the original driveway that would have been used if the garage went as planned. I still use this driveway as a secondary pass for deliveries, but I had to cut a new driveway, and that's another saga which I will tell you about in a separate video. To say the least, it costs a lot of money to make this change. So try not to stick, but try to stick to your original plan. So try to stick to your original plan, because every change you make, it costs money. So if I had somebody to tell me before, I would avoid a lot of expense that I spent. So my tip here is, every time you do a change, equate it with dollar sign, money, okay? So right now, I am living with the garage as it is. The grills are nice, but they cost a lot. But my safety and peace of mind outweighs the price. If you have noticed, a third floor was put up, and this was originally part of the plan to have a full third floor. But later on, I reasoned that I didn't need so much of a house to live in, because, you know, my kids are grown up and this is basically a vacation home. But as I said before, the builders, you have to watch out for them. They are there to encourage you to make a lot of additions, because that's their security blanket to get work, to be kept employed. All right, so you have to watch out for that. Nobody is gonna act in your own interest like you. So that's another pointer there. I don't regret it, putting up that third floor anyway, because my children and grandchildren will use it when they come to visit. And I'm a person that loves a lot of space. I am claustrophobic, and I like to have my room and my space to do my stuff and so on. So, and later on, if I choose, I can use it as an income generator. Okay? So, after all, it's not a bad idea. Okay. So, the problem, back to the garage. So another problem that I mentioned earlier was that the arches were too close to the wall. So the two end arches, not the middle one. Middle one could be a little wider, but I'm speaking specifically of the two end arches for the two bays. They have about 6 inches spacing from where the two walls intersect, and that's not good. That even if I had enough room to park a vehicle and I wanted to put the shutters in, I wouldn't have enough space to connect it in the corner. So there again is another problem. So keep on top of the things, especially if you're going to put in garage and things that are not normally put in most homes back in Jamaica. Because the people, they say, yes man, I'll do this and we'll do this and we can do this. But the specs is what fails later on. They can do it, yes, but you know how it needs to be done because you have been living like that for quite some times abroad. You have garage, you know it's gonna need an opener, you know the thing go up in the ceiling and it need room for that and all that. So you need to stay on top of that, because in the end, it's you it's going to cost. Now for all my current and future builders, don't forget when you're building the garage that you need to set aside extra money for the driveway, because the driveway can cost a lot of money. I had to cut a new driveway, and that's because if I was to try to drive straight into the driveway, it wouldn't work. I would always be knocking underneath my vehicle because the slope is so steep. So what I did, I came from sideway and I cut that driveway. Well, I have to pay quite a bit of money to cut the driveway, and not only that, to turn around to buy the gravel and the dome and all that material and to concrete it. So that caused a sizable sum. So put that in your budget, don't leave it out. Another issue I have that I want to share with you is try to refrain from making additions as you go along building the house. Don't let the builders tell you, add on this and you can get this here, so and this can add here, so you know, and so on. No, 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 no. Stick with your plan, okay? And I learned the hard way because like I told you in the beginning of this video, where the garage is was not the intended place. So originally when they dug that foundation, they didn't dig the foundation to accommodate a living quarter. So later on they went back and they dig several feet down. Well, I don't know if your area is like where I am from, but we have a lot of water in my area. And so you're disturbing where the water is gonna flow, and you're gonna run into problem of water seeping in the building if you don't take that in consideration and dig out the foundation deep enough and do what you have to do. My soil type is clay, and we had to do special treatment because if you are familiar with building a house and so on, you know clay can be a problem when it dries and when it's wet as far as foundation heaving and expansion and contraction is concerned. And so when they went in and they dug probably another foot to foot and a half deeper, so we get good head room for the downstairs. I mean, the garage didn't need to be dug out any further, but the rooms that we put further underneath the house, we went in and dug that out. And later on, water was coming in because that was an afterthought. And that is a big problem. That cost me money to go in and get pipes to go under and to do dry well and all that kind of stuff and so on. So keep that in mind. Stick with your plan. Sit down and think out your plan real good first. And once you get your plan draw up, tell yourself, no, you're not changing anything unless it's something that is a real issue you run into and you have to change. Stick with the plan. Don't let people tell you, had on this and do this, do that, and you can't get how much room. First of all, you don't need so many rooms. And that's something that, you know, my eyes wasn't open to when I started building. So anyway, I think that is pretty much what I have to say about adding on things just haphazardly, you know, without your plan for it. And it costs a lot of money. It takes longer to finish the place, and you have to be dowsing money into it. All right. So I think that is for that. I'm going to let you look at the video now. I want you to watch this little clip so you get a good idea of the garage and see how it's set up. And bear in mind, like I told you, the rooms under here, they weren't planned. But yes, we had this space because they put the house could have set back further on the level part of the land, but they brought it all the way forward. And so it created all that space under there. And I think it was deliberately done. All right, so watch the clip and leave a comment and let me hear what you think or see what you think. Here's the clip, guys. Watch it, take a note of the arches, look in the corners, the two outer corners, and look at the middle where the two arches meet. You notice that's very narrow. So, bottom line is either we should have made just one big garage, or we should have, got pretty much it. I would say make one big garage instead of two carports. But the width is okay. I can pull two vehicles in it easily. What is the issue is it's not deep enough. Okay? And like I told you before, I had problem with water coming in through the walls because the foundation was dug into, not the garage, but the inside rooms that you can see. We dig down a little deeper in the foundation. So we had issue with water where we had to redeck the flooring. And even the walls. The walls right now, when rain fall, especially a lot of rain, water seep in through the concrete. So I'm gonna need to go back and dig out around the walls of the foundation and treat it, either what they call steel float it, or buy a type of adhesive that they put on to the walls to prevent water from soaking in, and then render it. Yes, that is another problem. The rendering is only on the outside of the wall. They didn't render below the foundation. So those are some issues that came up. You'll see two holes in the wall. I actually bore them there to ventilate the place, because when I'm not there and it's locked up, a lot of moisture accumulate, and down there get musky, and the stuff get rusty that I used to pack up under there. So those are the issues that I encountered. And you can see the window too. You have a good view of how big that window is. It's blocked up. I'm gonna try to find a picture to include in this video to show you how I blocked it up and made it smaller. Okay? Here is the vehicle that I parked in the garage. So this Equinox is a 6-cylinder vehicle. It's very long. And when I park it, I have to get out through my driver's side, and then I have to walk to the back of the garage to get out. I can't go around the front. So, sometimes you park your vehicle and you just go right around the front, because again, the door to go up the stairs is close to the front of the vehicle. I have to actually go outside, walk outside. There's no room to walk around the back of the vehicle if rain is falling, So that is an issue. So that vehicle can merely just fit in that garage. I have it as an afterthought, probably when all the construction is completed, that I may build an outside garage round to the back where I had originally planned to put the garage. Because I still go back there sometimes. I still park back there if I'm washing the vehicle or if I have delivery and so on. That is my dilemma with the vehicle. The good thing is I can actually park and lock up the garage. Okay. Now I'm going to address the steps. So looking under this step, that looks like it's bubbled up, but it's not bubbled up. Actually, he did a very good job of under this step. I think that's some artifact with the camera. So where I have problem with this step is the actual steps. The steps were not cleaned prior to rendering them. So the steps were rendered probably about 4 years after they were made. So you know, you're building a house and you rough cast the step, but they weren't finished. So it is afterwards, few years after well, that we decide to render the building and render the steps. Well, they were not clean. And so the problem I'm having with the steps now is that all that little concrete that they dress it up with, they just flaking off. I don't have a picture right at hand to show you, but probably in some other video I will put it as an extra. All of these steps, they're flaking off. Okay? So on this screen you see a picture of the front of the building. In this screen they are preparing the scaffolding for the rendering of the first and second floor. Okay? I bought scaffolds. As a matter of fact, I shipped scaffolds down from the US for them to use. But one thing you're gonna learn that our fellow Jamaicans are set in their ways. They are not conducive to trying out new things. And although some of them work in building construction, where they work on large projects, where they might use the iron scaffold, when it comes on to building in your local area, these men, they don't want to budge. They just are set in their ways. And so this person that I was using decided to waste a lot of time and money, because I had to pay for those board. Those board he's using are a lot. That cost me a lot of money to buy, to prepare for rendering the front. Not only that, the person, after he finished rendering the garage, the price that we set to render the entire place, he changed it on me. So look out for that. Get your estimates and whatever agreement in writing. Even have them text it to your phone or something like that, because afterward he went and doubled the price. Told me, oh, the money we talk about, that's just for the garage. You have to pay me extra to do the rest of the building. And he did a decent job with the rendering, but the columns, that was a problem. So I'm going to address the columns in another video, because that is another nightmare. Columns weren't done properly, and even right now they're not 100%, but I want to make the building livable. So I'm gonna focus on those little issues later on when I have time, but for right now, I wanted to bring the building up to a livable condition. So that's what it is. Now guys, this is just a little look at the front of the building. There's still a lot of work to be done. Matter of fact, I didn't even want to show you this stage of the build yet, but because I am talking about the garage, this is how you get this little sneak preview. But there's a lot more done that I haven't shown yet. All right, so The next thing I'm going to be talking about, I think, is a little bit of the plumbing issues. That's going to be in a separate video. So pretty much what I want you to take away from this video is to stay on top of your bill. Stick to your plan. Don't let the builders tell you every few weeks, do this, do that, add on this, put that. No, because it costs a lot of money. All those changes cost money. And if your pocket isn't long, this is going to add up and take you off budget. Also, a lot of times the builders are doing it just for selfish reasons. They want this project to go on and on and on till eternity, because that's their security, where they know this is where I go get my food from. And they'll talk it too. They talk it behind your back. You understand? So you have to keep in mind your plans. And if you're a person who is building this home either to return to Jamaica or to make it your vacation home, they will keep you out of this house forever. You'll probably die and go to wherever you're gonna go before this house is completed. And people say, why they make up that the big house there and the woman not even sleep in the one night? So you have to put limit on these builders and know what you want and take control of your bill. All right? So give the video a thumb up. Also subscribe to the channel, please. I'm trying to take it to another level. And watch out for the next release of the next video. And thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned.